Some quick notes before we even get fucking started, people. A, I have a Cartoon Network tattoo. B, I have aspired to be an animator for basically my whole life. And C, well, this entire fucking channel. So don't fucking at me by saying I don't love cartoons, goddammit. My name's Deadman, and today let's answer a quick question. Are live action adaptations something to be celebrated or burned with gasoline?
I'm a man of substance. Dorky chicks like you turn me on too.
Alright, so to start off, one high note of live actions that they give dozens, if not hundreds of people a job. Even the ones that are fuck awful. All the cast and crew went home with a paycheck that day. Probably wasn't very much, but that's a whole other problem. Also, actors in these movies get a chance to portray characters that they've loved since they were children most of the time. Directors get a shot at taking a world they've always known and crafting into something of their own, and whether it comes out good or Mulan, you gotta admit, that's just a high note. That's just good. Even things you don't really think about until after the fact, like costume designers and set designers and designer the rapper, everyone gets a job when the adaptation bell tolls. Like, look at the original Flintstones for one example. Being able to use such a wacky backwards ass topic and bringing it to life, Lord in heaven, man, I love that shit.
Wilma, I'm home! This summer.
Or like even look at the opposite, like something like the Addams Family, or the Addams Family Values. Taking a world that's no different than the one we live in and throwing these gothic psychopaths up in there. I'm just glad that I live in a world with these movies in it.
Who are you? What are you? Who moved the rock?
Alright, time for a con. We all know the definitive worst piece of film to ever hit cinemas, right? You can't even call this fuck shit Dragon Ball, god damn it. Dragon Ball ain't the kind of story that can be turned into a modern day coming of age flick. Like, they really just tweaked Spider-Man 1 a little and just named the main character Goku. Shit like this is why it's hard to defend live actions most of the time. Literally, I do not know how many things are wrong with this movie. And where the fuck you hiding at? You thought you was getting away? I owe Shyamalan a few hands for this bullshit. Changing characters' names, changing the power system, and whitewashing the living hell out of the only dark-skinned people in the damn show. Why, fam? Why are you like this? I'm gonna call this next one a pro, but to be real with you, it's kind of 50-50. Whenever a Disney cartoon, for example, gets hit with the Liveinator, we get new works of some of that good shit, that good music.
Oh, Obi-Doo, I wanna be like you. I wanna walk like you, talk like you too.
The reason Aladdin is always and will always be my favorite Disney movie is because every song in that bitch is a banger. Like, you don't know how hype I got when I heard just a little bit of that Prince Ali score when the trailer first dropped back in 2019. Side by side, piece by piece, brick for brick, both versions of every song go hard. I'm all here for that shit. That being said, the opposite can also go in effect. I'll never forgive them for not letting Jafar sing in 2019. And what the red line fuck did they do to Scar? He sings one good time and that's it? That's all we got, man. 30 seconds of be prepared. Man, fuck that. Another con, and bear with me here, because this is the shit that pisses me off the most. For the adaptations that are good and do really well, the higher-ups all gather around the round table and say some stupid shit like, well, numbers don't lie, fellas. Animations are out, live actions are in. I don't see Invincible making $1 billion. Hey fellas, can we wrap this up? My wife's boyfriend says I have to be home by 6 to watch the kids when they go out for anniversary. Punk asses. Reminder here, we lost TMNT 2012 in favor of a sequel to the Bayverse Turtles. Not that I don't love the Bayverse, but still, there's always that little bit of pullback whenever an adaptation is actually good.
That's how I roll. That's how you roll.
Think about it like this. Disney has been pushing out several animated projects every year for years, like for a good minute. Some are big hits, some are generic as fuck, some are amazing and automatically family classics of all time, and some are onward. A whole lot of hits and misses, but the live actions, it's just printing money. Like, not sure what the fuck they had going on with Mulan, but they even take cursed shit like Sonic or Dumbo and turn it into a money machine. Now we all know why that is, but clearly people whose job is to just be rich aren't as connected with the common folk as they like to think they are. So we gotta give them some slack when they get their shit backwards every now and then.
What are your superpowers again?
I'm rich.
Okay, so this one's a small dub, but hell, we take those here. Look at the Ninja Turtles, or Appa, or Will Smith, or, well, back to Dumbo and Sonic. Some wonky shit here and there, but all in all, the CGI holds up. And a lot of these artists take these skills and use them in better outlets. Like, look at shit like Thanos, or Cyborg, or, I don't know. Come on, I gotta think of one more. Why is my head fucking stopping? Juggernaut, and, ooh, and Colossus 2. There we go, 2 more. Several of the designers in those teams worked on cartoon adaptations before being pulled on for the Marvel and DC. Like, for example, the team behind Sonic recently just got hired for a Streets of Rage movie, and yeah, I don't know anything about Streets of Rage. I just assume that's good. Not sure whether to call this a pro or con, but people are way harder on live action adaptations than even when animation falls short. Like, I'm not letting live actions take double the heat for shit that the animated ones get forgiven for. The Injustice movie had a whole comic series and video game series to work with and still fucked it up. This shit needs more heat for that. This is coming from a zombie that has sunk hours of my afterlife into playing Injustice. I had high hopes for that fucking adaptation. I was so fucking hyped. I'm also a big fan of the Hush comic, so imagine my surprise when I found out how badly they fucked that one up. Another con, the MCU. That's it. That's the con. The entire MCU is the con for this one. Not that most of them aren't good, some are fucking awful, but most of them are good. It's just that they make so much money that Marvel barely focuses on anything else. To the point where we can't even get some good animation out of them without being attached to the MCU. To this day, Marvel Zombies is the only good episode of What If, and I will stand by that shit till the grave.
You are about to die at the hands of the children of...
Pro. Stan Lee. Final verdict from the King of the Dead. Whether we want them or not, live action adaptations are a part of the world we live in. And while we all know animation is superior, don't let your love for it blind you to seeing the beauty of a good adaptation. Directors, actors, set and costume designers, makeup artists, special effect artists, and Will Smith all get their chance to shine when the studio calls. Deadmantoons signing off.